Hello and welcome to The Forge. I'm the Artsmith, and today I've got some more fakemon to share. If this is your first time at The Forge, I highly recommend checking out my fakemon playlist after you're done watching this video. And while you're at it, check out some of the other art I post on this channel. Now, most of you know at this point that I like designing prehistoric fakemon. It's pretty much the selling point of my region. However, today we'll be taking a break from that, and instead designing a fakemon that already exists in the region, much like my Route 1 fakemon. Currently, out of the 35 fakemon that I've designed, only 8 of them exist in the region without needing to be restored. I think I need to bump up those numbers a little bit. I've been slowly making my way through the 18 Pokemon types, and today I'm finally rounding it out by designing my very own ground type. Let's go ahead and get into it. Now, those of you who have been keeping tabs on my community posts might recognize this design. This was actually the original concept for my Sora video, back when I was trying to make the dragon concept work. In this concept, I was making flying, ground, and water evolutions, but the only one I really latched onto was the ground type evolution. I didn't want these designs to go to waste, so I repurposed this first form into a ground type to match its evolution. I based the design on desert burrowing lizards such as skinks, and accentuated the features that greatly develop in its final form. I wanted a no thoughts, head empty kind of vibe from this little guy, and I think the giant eyes and wide mouth help with that. When it came to its coloring, I simply leaned into the beiges and browns that are often seen in ground types. I wanted him to look like he evolved for the purpose of blending into the desert. You'd see this fakemon scampering across sand dunes, hopping from burrow to avoid the desert heat. Skizzard, the skink Pokemon. This Pokemon lives in harsh deserts where resources are scarce. Its front claws aren't strong enough to dig through the tough soil, so to survive the blistering heat, it slips into burrows dug by other Pokemon and uses its sharp scales to stave off their protestant attacks. An easy way for trainers to catch a wild Skizzard is simply to provide it somewhere to cool off. It may be weak, but its survival instincts are second to none. I really like to look at the design process of this fakemon as a great example of how 3 crucial concepts are utilized in character design. And those are shape, posing, and color. I knew right away that I wanted to design a burrowing lizard. The trick was figuring out the correct shapes to use. At a certain point in your artistic journey, you learn it's best to focus on shapes first rather than details. You can even see in the speed draw the moment that I stopped focusing on the small details of the sketch, and instead draw my attention to the shapes that make it up. It's when I switched to my blotchy brown brush. Whenever I find myself caught in a detail sinkhole, I find it helpful to switch to a larger brush size where it's literally impossible for me to draw any details. Now, a pose can tell the viewer everything they need to know about a character. I wanted this fakemon to be imposing, as it should be, from digging through tough soil all the time. So I decided to make the pose reflect that. Its back is arched and its massive claws lifted as if it's in the middle of digging. Lastly, color. Before I add any line art, I always do a rough pass of the colors I intend to use in the design. It can help you notice negative space in your design, or in my case, it made me realize I needed a better way to distinguish the head from the back. So I messed around with the head design and actually came up with a design that looks so much cooler and more unique than it did before. Burrdozer, the burrowing Pokemon. With the heat becoming too extreme to stay on the surface, this Pokemon has developed incredibly tough claws in order to dig its own tunnels through the rough shale beneath the sand. It is very difficult to break through this Pokemon's thick skin, making it popular amongst construction sites. When its trainer is in danger, it curls itself around them and rolls them away to safety. So that's my ground type fakemon. We have a lizard that benefits off of the work of others, that grows up into a bulldozer that creates burrows for others to benefit from. I wanted a bulky defense-heavy fakemon to add to the decks. So what do you think? Would you add Skizzard to your team? I notice whenever I make a non-dinosaur fakemon, they tend to be based around the desert. And I mean, it makes sense. Most dig sites are in deserts. It fits with the vibe of the region. But I also live in one, so it's difficult not to draw inspiration from it. What do you guys think? Should I stick with this desert theming for future modern fakemon, or should I try branching out? If so, what recommendations do you have for biomes on the West Coast to draw inspiration from? I'm looking to put more effort into the channel this year, so please be sure to subscribe and join me on this journey. Be sure to recommend any dinosaurs or other extinct creatures you would like to see adapted into a fakemon. And if you want, throw some type combos you think would be cool too. This has been the Artsmith, and thank you for coming to the Forge.